Mic check. Hello, can anyone hear me? Mic check. All right. I just checked on my cell phone device and it seems we're live. Okay. Welcome to the second stream for the year, um, 2026. Um, I want to give out very sensitive information today, and um, it's going to be quite amazing, and I can't wait to share it actually. Um, I don't know if anyone can see my screen. Mm, yeah, it's I don't really know what's going on. I think my OBS is messed up or something. I'm trying to figure it out. We'll begin shortly. Okay. It seemed it seemed to be that I have a preview on that I can't discard and it's really messing with my display. So I think I'm just gonna have to mute that and see how it comes out. Um well, let's let's have fun today on this stream and probably get to see a couple of exciting things within the markets that would in no way downplay other trading methodologies, but it'll kind of like shed a little light on some of the questions you've asked around sequence generation. So that's what this live stream is going to be about. It's going to be teaching you the details of how the sequences that Morpheus gave you, how they're generated. And so I'll be giving out, I think, um, of all of my 17 different constants for calculation, I'll be giving out about two today, and two of the most important. So, so as to introduce and um, give this concept a bit of a foundation, and to teach you how some of these things are done. Okay. This current 4 hour candle will be the time window we'll be walking in or with, and I would encourage you to possibly set a chart in front of you so we can walk these things out together as we progress. And I'm sure that some of you who are watching already were students of Morpheus. Yeah, that would that would explain why cat counting is so interesting to you because it's the it's having like a huge similarity to what you would usually see in time dilation theory. But time dilation theory on its own is not it's not a complete methodology of trading. It was more like an introduction to the back end. So what we'll be doing today would probably help you greatly improve or um, help you have um, another system, okay, in your archives that would help you in prognostications and in determining market directions. Okay, so we'll be using basic principles of mathematics and reading some of the data feeds, or should I say prints, of these candles live and would apply the constants as we go and see how we count in CAD counting. Now, the entire market is composed of three components. It has um, ties with music. That's where you find market rhythm and vibration. It's tied to music and time. So um, you're looking at two different things actually. Um, in music, you're dealing with basically rhythm, right? Um, and the prints for rhythm, they're quite very simple, and they educate you on basic turning points in the market based on when beats drop and when they stop. Okay, so it's remarkably easy. Okay, but to some people who are not privy to this information or don't have the detail of its working principle, they'll have a great deal of stress trying to define what um, market rhythm and market vibration is. So I think I don't know if this live stream allows for comments, but I'm leaving the comment section open because I believe if there are questions live, I can get to clarify them so people don't run with this in error. Okay. So I'm gifting this and I'll continue to do a few more teachings surrounding market the markets, but I would uh, I would move very slowly. But for me to do consistent live streams is going to mess with my line of work because I love to manage projects, and so I work as a construction. Let's just say Um, sometimes I supervise, and sometimes I actually do run construction work. So I'm an engineer. I love that field of work, and I enjoy it quite well. And I'm building my personal company and raising it up. So it's a lot of work. So I can't do live stream all the time, but I can certainly make up time to make sure that you guys are well fed and get more information out there around CAD counting and truly delve deep into it. Okay, so there are very simple principles where um, time dilation theory meets, let's just say, CAD counting. When you are to begin this count right here, using the principle I'll teach you today, right? When you're to begin this count right here and find the bounce point within these places, you would in market vibration, you start from the highest candle up, but in market rhythm, you start from a different point that we're not talking about today. So in market vibration, you're starting with the highest candle right here, and we will be using a very simple constant, which is a constant well known to many of the people in my community. It's 1.28, right? This would be our first constant. And there are many more constants, and I won't tell you how this is important. ICT once talked about this, but these are very simple constants that you can find, and they are actually used uh, to calculate certain points where the market makes certain reactions. Now, there's a lot that goes into understanding that. So even if I give this out, a lot of you still won't be able to profit with just that information. So it's kind of like an introduction to what CAD counting is, right? So it's not gonna cover everything, but just a more it'll give you more excitement as you run with this course and probably get to create your own trading system using the principles that I'll be teaching, right? So first of all, in market vibration, we start with the highest candle. I've already said that before, but I want you to pay attention, okay? And then we count. Remember, in the previous introduction of CAD counting, when I made the playlist for that section, I created something called the arc system, right? Where you have backward arcs, forward arcs, right? Backward arcs, forward arcs. I created that system and gave it to you all out for free, but that on its own was not the complete thing. So the next thing you need to pay attention to is the use of those acts and the mathematical principle that surrounds it. Okay, so we are taking the total number of the first count that creates this upward arc right here. We're taking that number, right? And then we're multiplying that number by this value right here. And it's supposed to give us, without fail, either with plus or minus 1, the next bounce point. So let's do a count and let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have 5. And we have to multiply that by 1.28. And it's giving us 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the next run downward begins at exactly 6 without any drawdown whatsoever, right? So another way of reading it, this is for entry purposes. Now look at this. I stated that this would give you entry, right? But then again, there is a way you can catch it at this point right here, right? So it gave us 6. All you have to do now is take 6 again and multiply it by the same value. And it's going to give you 8. So 8 is right here. So your first entry in terms of rhythm would be the draw back on this candle. And then you use time to attack it within this set region and wait for it re-enter here based on your previous vibration. Okay, so now I have given you a very simple principle. First, I said we take the 5 and we multiply it by 1.28, right? And then that equals our entry, which is 6, right? So we take this first bounce. Say we watch this curve right here, and then this candle happened. We don't trade this candle, we don't trade this candle, we don't trade this candle, we don't trade this candle. We just put a marker here as entry, okay? And then rhythm will tell you whether we're going upward or downward within this region when you're counting for rhythm, okay? So what you're just basically waiting to see is your expectation being met around this region, and so you can mark it out. And the 4-hour candle that from this point, I'm expecting this to be a bounce point, either upward or downward. No knowledge of it because rhythm haven't disclosed it yet because you're watching these candles until this one begins to close. This one right here around 2300. So when it reaches there, you're waiting to see what happens next, right? In this candle. So there are time windows where you get to ignore completely what is going on in the market. So you can catch moves like this. So all you have to do is watch this first curve happen. And when it gives you the first act has to be completed for bias to be established. Okay, for long-term buyers, short-term buyers, you have to wait for arcs. Arcs are important. That's how you determine where the next bounce points are gonna be valid or not. So you're just watching, basically trying to understand what is about to happen next. And these are the key principle things that I keep disclosing and hinting online, and people have not um they've not figured it out yet somehow. And it's quite very basic actually. When you look at this first curve right here, it it's very very easy to pinpoint where this is gonna happen. So when you've already mapped that out, you know that there's a certain move you're anticipating here. What happens on the lower time frame? What do you do there? You're looking for a similar alignment. But in times of rhythm is what is going to keep going downward, it keeps shrinking. And the numbers, when you put them all together, they will tell you exactly where your entry is supposed to be on the lower fractals or the lower time frames. So as we go down to the 1 hour time frame, what was the key thing that happened here in terms of rhythm? But if you were to determine the rhythm of this place right here for the entry, you have to begin from up here. And then you begin to determine the market rhythm from up here. You keep running the rhythm and find out what chain is it running on until you get to this very point where you have to find entry points, right? So because of the nature of my busy schedule, I have not been able to communicate these things properly. So I'm trying to make sure that I do a bit of a comprehensive look to the entire approach of CAD counting and be very meticulous in my um, approach. Okay, so at this point right now, you can basically take this constant and run with it. It's super easy to run with it. Watch this. Um, before we go into using it to find bounce point, I used it actually to create all of the videos you see for my trade entry. I used only vibration for entirely all of them. And I didn't even use rhythm. That's the funny part. Where you see me call retracement, bounce points, that was all market vibration using two constants in my trade. Just two. And I haven't disclosed the second one yet. I'll get into that later. So um in this or the counting, we're just basically taking this guy right here and we're counting up into the last deepest retracement. Okay. So if we had to take that, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. People with very high IQ won't even need to do any other thing. They would just use vibration and they would become legends. Because to them they would probably see it as the ultimate disclosure and they would run with it. So look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is right here, right? So you take the first arc, your first arc is 9 count. So you take 9 and multiply it by 1.28, and you're going to have 11 or 12, right? Now, either you're going to see a retracement within such a count in the future, or it'll form a long time high, okay? So if you have 11 right here, 0.5, you can easily round that up to 12, right? But don't do that. When you have 11, stick with it. When there's a reason why 11 is a unique number and you have to stick with it, it's because of its dynamic nature. So if you have 9, 10 on the 11th candle will give you the option of whether you're going down or up in the movement or in the flow. So if it is bearish, then you're long. But if it is bullish, then you wait for this fair value gap and you enter short and target this place right here. So this candle right here gives you this retracement, that is 11, right? But when you go to your calculator, you don't use 11 when you've already entered here. If you want to find these places right here where retracement are going to happen, you you don't use this as 11.5. No, you make a conversion. Once if you've known this to be 11, that determines your entry. Okay, that tells you that there is a retracement here and it's for specifically for re-entry. um Entries that are upward are always indicative by black candles or bearish candles. Entries that are downward are always indicative of green candles. All right. So you have to also, like, I'm talking to my students in this part, hoping that they would watch this, is that when you have entries like that, those are super precise and you can almost measure with them and count the specific candles that is going to be until they come to their end in the run. Okay, so look at this. Okay, so we have a black candle right there. It's simply indicating, okay, I want to go up. Okay, and what we had there was 11.5, right? 11.5. But when you want to run with this, don't run with it as 11.5. Run with it as 12. Okay? When you want to catch the next retracement, you can use this for entry as 11.5. Do not use or convert it to 12. Use 11. 11 is dynamic. It's an animal. So remember the numbers I taught you. 11 was not amidst them because it's not relevant. It's not that important. But you also have to watch for each of these values and how their behavior tend to be. That's why experience is the best concept. Okay, experience is the best concept. It's the ultimate concept because once you've experienced the market over and over and over again, nothing takes that away from you. No concept can ever supersede or exceed that. It's impossible. It's impossible. Experience is ultimate. So what you're seeing right here, 11.5, convert that now to 12. Okay, when you want to use it for future bounce points, round it up. Well, if it is for this first X retracement, that is 9, which we found as this value right here was 9. This D retracement was 9. So whilst you're watching this act present itself, remember, before you can trust this, you have to first of all had already established on the 4-hour time frame that the rhythm is indicative of an upward movement. So this first act you're waiting to present itself is is supposed to actually be in alignment with the time and the price. Okay, so you're not walking blindly in this entire approach. You have to make sure that they are all running together, or else you would fail. Okay, so we start from this point right here as our one, and we found 9 here. We multiplied by 1.28, it gave us 11.5, which is our entry point. And at this point now, we want to take 11.5, we convert it to 12, and then multiply by 1.28, and it gives us 15. And there's no any value added to it but 3.5. About 36, 15.36. Okay, so 36 can be rounded down to 0. It doesn't serve as any unique thing at all. It's just when you round it up, it doesn't count for much. So you have to use it that way. So 12, 13, 14, Next retracement happened at 15. Now take 15 again. Forget about the decimal point, just the exact 15, and then you multiply it again by 1.28. And guess what? It gives you 19.2. 15, 16, 17, 18, re-entry. 19 exactly. So this would be the next point of entry. Do you see how sequences are generated? 1, 9, 12, 19. This is the generation of the sequence that you see Morpheus talk about in his video. This is how these sequences are generated. I'm giving you literally bounces. Everywhere they're turning, bounces. Look at this bounce right here that happened exactly at 15. That's a turning point. People won't realize how much you've given them until they've actually run with this for maybe years. So what would you call this sequence? You would call it 1, 9. If you like, you could call this 12 or 11, 15, 19. You stop at 33, by the way. Okay, so 19 multiplied by 1.28, and you get 24. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Looks like magic, doesn't it? Yeah, cool. So when you reach 24, 24 multiplied by 1.28, and you have 31. Now I encourage you to stop at 33. Okay? 1, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. You end your trading here. And where does that actually lead? To the exact terminus of the high. 33. This is why 33 is so important to the Freemasons, okay? They love this value. Why? Because they that codified the language of this entire algorithm respected it. They used the principle that literally some of their basic turning points and the most suited ones for trading ended 33. Not all the time now. You have to always take my word for it or choose to go into the charts and do your own analysis and calculation and backtesting. I don't backtest, by the way. I I rugged test. I go aggressive in my backtesting. Okay? I don't just backtest. I backtest. Okay? I spent years learning this. And when I discovered all of their secret vibrations. I have about 17 of them, but that's uniquely mine. Okay, and they're all just from backtesting. I never had the source code or somebody whispered it to my ear. No, that's not the case. I did study it. Okay, I learned this. I took my time, energy, and research and try to figure these things out. And I discovered that they had more vibration constants than we could ever imagine. But most of them are completely useless. They are only unique to certain scenarios. And so the first two I'll disclose are the most important of all the 17. Of all the 17. So it's a free gift to all those people who have been following my channel. Okay. And they subscribed and they expect value, right? And so I'm just reciprocating that same love and trying to make sure that the community is built upon truth and nothing but the truth. I would never mislead anyone. I wouldn't send out videos that does not disclose the truth. I would never try that. This on its own is not enough for you to profit. You would see that. Why? Because it's lacking rhythm and it's lacking time. Those three components have to always agree. They always have to agree. But if you have the two, rhythm and vibration, you can be a juggernaut alone. Just those two. Time completes it, but it's not necessary. It's not. But it's the out of all the three because time is everything. When you look at exactly where this movement began, you would see that's exactly at 8 o'clock. That's a good time, right? But what is it actually sweeping around here? What happened around here? Why is it turning here? Does it align with the vibration constants, or is it not just the constant, but is that the rhythm is in play within this region? And if the rhythm is in play within this region, it should agree with the time at this region. So what rhythm gives you is the market's intent, and time tells you the duration of its run. Not just the duration, but the distance it to cover within the same price windows that exist within this right-hand side of the chart. So time defines what you see right here. And the the study of time was not done privately by me. I didn't discover time. It was a component that my mentor taught me. And my only mentor throughout trading has only been ICT and my mentor. So um, I think those were the only two in my entire trading career. I think those were the only two. I think the work that Morpheus put out was kind of good, but I couldn't comprehend because I already had a few of these components already, but I couldn't understand why he would just send it out without the full detail of the sequences and how they are generated. He knows these things, and for some reason, he doesn't want to disclose it. And so that's why I kind of like I felt really bad when people paid and they came back complaining, and so I was like, wow, no, that's really sad, and had to do something about it. So there are three regions of rhythm that you have to watch for. Something like this is very difficult to trade around, right? Something like this is super difficult to maneuver around, and they're hard to define as well. But when you go up to the 4 hour time frame, okay, I would never teach rhythm online, not like this. Vibration can go, and it's basically very basic. When we have, for my students actually, when we have short rhythms, they account for distortions. They create distortions. Short rhythms of 2 by 2. I know you understand what I mean. 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 3 by 4, 4 by 4 beats. They account for short duration rhythms. And these short duration rhythms cause distortion. You don't trade within those conditions unless you're an expert in counting. Okay? You you have to always make sure that you are the biggest of advantage whenever it has to do with entries. Because remember, the person you're trading against is an algorithm. It has no heart or reason to wanna think of your well being and how you would feel or your emotional state when it begins to move. You wouldn't think that because it's a machine. So you have to also dial yourself down to becoming a machine like it is. Like in this current rhythm, this is a valid bounce point. This current rhythm that flows from up here down to here. This is an established bounce point. It's like an high. It's like an high. So you're watching it. This is, like I told you, an area of rhythm bounce. So we might take some time before we get back up into this. It might take some time, okay? And it might not, but I haven't done full count extensively. But all I can see from my eyeballing right now is that this is a valid bounce point, right? So I think let's apply this in real time and see what we're working with, okay? Let's apply a little bit of vibration and work our way around it. See what we're working with here on BTC, and maybe we should try to predict a few candles move, and then really feel good about it. Some of you should do that. I would want to see on my Discord, if you're on the Discord, if you have access to my Discord. I would like to see your back test. If you're a good student, I would like to see your back test of vibration. And if some of you do good and you really impress me, I promise I'll just add you to the group. I love people that are serious. I hate lazy people because I was not lazy when I started researching this. I really went really deep into a lot of mysterious books and weird ancient cultures. It was stupid, but all of those journeys led me to something that I felt was kind of like, uh, I know, close to the truth. Yeah, very, very close to the truth and almost impossible to ignore. It's it's as powerful as they come. No one would, in the trading community, no one would come out to disclose vibration to you. I did. And there are no black fans whatsoever. They don't exist. I think it was just our mentor, ICT's paranoia or his fright. I don't know what he felt back then or who he believed pulled up and try to snatch him. But if you disclose time online, I believe things like that are possible. But rhythm and vibration, they can serve as, let's just say, um, stepping blocks towards the perfect system. But when you come out and you create a channel and you make rhythm, vibration, time, as your, I think a possibility exists, you're gonna take it down, where you disclose all of the market principles all at once. It would it would really mess things up for them. So I don't know. Let's walk around vibration and see what we're doing. Okay, let's walk with it. Now, when you look at this candle formation, is there anything that looks good around you that you can say you can pull and then possibly call an arc? It doesn't look it, does it? But there are multiple arcs within this, okay? And that's the part where experience has to come in. The last bearish candle was this guy right here that really punched into this nigger right here. Sorry for the N word. Well, I'm black, so it doesn't matter. So right here, it pulled down in here, right? Pulled down, got into this guy, played around there for a while, and then jumped off. So it's the last candle for us to see that did the highest damage downward. So what do we do? What do we do in our approach in trying to understand the flow of the market in terms of vibration? What do we do? We begin our counts on this exact candle. Sorry, I'm very slow. I'm a slow talker, and sometimes it can get really frustrating for people listening. I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to bore you or anything. I'm sorry, I'm not exciting, but I'm trying to teach the best way I can. I hope I'm not messing up. I haven't done this live before. Um, that's to say, disclosing and teaching live. I'd rather just read candles. Okay, so this is one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. That's our first act, right? So this right here is our first act. Acts cannot run in two and three. It can't be one, two, three. No, it has to be at a seven, five. The lowest act you can have should be five. Acts of four, don't count them and run with them. They would betray you eventually. Okay, so I usually use them, but with very lower constants, and I haven't taught any of that using the lower constants because they literally are really frustrating to use, and they have high values, and uh, well, they're useful, but let's count again. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So 7 times 1.28, and it's 9. Okay, 8.9. So guess what? 7, 8, 9. That's a bounce point right here. 7, 8, 9. So expected bounce point is right here. And what do you see happen exactly at that point? Boom. Funny, right? That's exactly where the turning point is. Do you see what I'm teaching? Do you understand what I'm teaching? It's the truth of how you actually should see the market. It's the truth. I've done nothing but speak about the truth. I taught time dilation theory, even though I know that it was not the ultimate truth of what is going on in the market. But I did that because I wanted to maintain the image that um, your mentor and tutor introduced. He's a very brilliant mind. So I don't want to downplay what he did. That's his marketing strategy, and he did it well. And I honor that. I don't want to mess around with people's work and stuff like that. So I just mirrored it because he spoke about it on Twitter openly. So it was easy for me to talk about it also. So that was it. Besides that, these are the truth of how the market fluctuate. Okay. And these were the things I discovered a long, long time ago, but they never got me profitable until I really got to understand all three. Okay. I really took a lot of L's using this system. It was really difficult to use them alone. Okay. But the best way to use them is by applying the first two together. If you can master that, there is no movement in this entire market that can elude you. None whatsoever. Every single one of them will become easy to see. So when you take 9 right now and multiply it by 1.28, what do you get? 11.5. 9, 10, 11. What is this indicative of? What is it trying to tell you? Is that we've shifted direction, okay? We've shifted direction, and that shift in direction is also, look, when we saw 11 the last time, it was black, right? And so we said that we were expecting upward movement. But see 11 at this point, at this point right here, okay? It's green. So what are we expecting? Bearish movement. Bearish movement. So a lot of you might see what I do and think that I'm foolish. Some of you even insulted me. To be honest, I was saddened by that. I'm a working class man. Aside from trading, I love to stroll around construction and build things with my hands. I love mathematics. That's what gave that was that was what gave me this an inspiration of God's wisdom. Because without him I wouldn't have discovered none of this. But that's it. So when you see green temporarily, we're going down. 9 is one of those numbers that you would want to pay attention to. 9, 7, and 13. Those are the points where retracement end in the opposing direction. Those are the places where you would see most of what are Judas swing end. Okay? You can go and backtest this. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Go and get data to verify this. Okay? It's like the Bible said, the Bereans in scripture, they go into um they go into the book to try to understand what the prophet and teachers say by themselves. They don't just listen and run with it. In fact, I want you to disprove some of the things I've done. That would challenge me. Okay? I would know that, okay, somebody is also doing research. And I can actually pair with that person and say, okay, I can also listen to you and learn from you. So if we've gotten this to be our next vibration point, what do we expect? Okay? Remember, we converted to 12 multiplied by 1.28. And what's our next bounce point? 15. Just exactly what I just saw on the high time frame. 11, 12, 13, 14, future 15. And you can just generate the sequence and wait for them to happen. Like literally just keep generating them and just all the numbers, just run them. Okay. So with this, I think I'll be closing. I have another live session with my students. I have to keep grooming them and keep grooming them over and over until I've hammered in experience into all of them. And I intend to do a lot of live streams this year with them, both physical live streams and tradable live streams, so that we can all um, understand and approach CAD counting with the reverence and the purity and the authenticity that only this system creates. This is just one of the tools in their repertoire, in their arsenal. They know the chains of rhythm, they know all the things that really matters. And I'm just giving them time to develop their systems and literally structure their growth. Because you need somebody like literally telling you this is what this is what this is before you can master this. It's complex. No one can do this on his own. No one. I couldn't. Okay. I couldn't. I couldn't figure all three by myself. I was lucky to would have gotten to two. And two was able to help me by far. I was able to put food on my table, but not consistently. Time was what helped me reduce everything that I found to be a difficulty. And so I kept growing in that area. And somehow it blended perfectly with the first two that I understood. So that's the advantage I've had. I have really good friends within um, the trading community I'm currently at, and they're amazing people. So I love to work with them. And well, some of them I owe a lot of what I do um, in terms of teaching to them because they inspire me to teach. The their hunger and passion and need for discovery makes me want to help people. Because if people are this passionate about learning, you'd only be an animal if you don't assist, right? So this is what I do basically. When you watch me do videos of my entry and I'm calling, this is going to be a green candle, this is going to be a black candle. I'm using this constant and another one. And so I'll just stop the live stream right here. And the next time we talk, I'm going to be talking about the second one. I don't feel up to it today. I think I'll just go into my group and begin to prepare the notes I'll be talking about today with them later at night. So I think this is it for today. Basically, you guys are now seeing the market in a different light using vibration, and this is just one of the constants. Okay, run with it. I've disclosed a few more to my group, but not all of them. All of them would just bore you and just literally mess with your head. And you can't use all of them to trade because they all apply to separate conditions. But this is a universal constant throughout the markets. Every market respects this constant. Every market. And if you go even into some of ICT's very ancient videos, you would see him use that constant once. Okay? And I think the next candle that I'll be watching print out on the 5 minutes time frame right here. Um that candle is important. Next bounce point, you have to watch the color. Well, in regards to that, go ahead and study. I'll be back and I'll set another date to talk about the second constant. And it's not something basically um tricky. It's very easily generated, all these constants. I don't know how to put it. It took me years to get them, but when they finally were available, I discovered the simplicity and the math behind them was so simple. Okay. So I just don't know. Why do people complicate things? So thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to watch me. Even though I wanted to read Candle's life, I wanted to, but I think that would take hours. We should probably do that, though, shouldn't we? But let me see the time. 10:53. No, that's an hour. So I was planning for an hour. We're not exactly at the hour, top of the hour yet, but I would still want to close around here. But look at this. This is what I was telling you about. an arc of just 5 candles. That's sufficient for you to begin to work with. This is the lowest candle, and this is an arc of 5 candles. So you would watch until we get to this time window right here, and you're watching this time window right here to make decision. Okay, and that is ultimately it. Okay, I wish you good luck in your trading, and I wish you to excel in everything you do. I think one of the prayers that have been in my heart recently is for the Middle Eastern people, and I really feel saddened by how much destruction their nations are currently going through. And I pray for those people. And I've never been to the Middle East, that part of the Middle East where the fight is. I've never been there, but my heart goes out to them, and I really hope that by some means there is a quick end to this useless, completely useless war. Um, no war is ever worth a life. No war, no war at all. It's completely pointless. I don't want fighting when we can talk about things and literally just listen to each other and things can get done. So have fun with this information. I really want to see what you guys can do with this. So I'll be cutting this live stream off right now. So I'll see you in the next one. I'll schedule it and we'll get to talk more and let's have questions asked within vibration, not rhythm, because, well, those are for the intimates and the initiates. Okay, so we we have vibration because it's easy, but rhythm is a very complex subject. So have fun and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.